these beautiful books. It was a pleasure to think about this, because at the end it's a bestiary. I mean, it's a group of 18 projects that they have. Some of them really older. There are some of them that are not a project, it's just a models, because for us in our office a model and a building or a theater or it's always more or less the same. And I think this book reassumes this idea of concentration, of what we want to express in each of our work. And I said, we, because we are in 4 in our studio, and then we must do it in by like a team. And this book is the idea of you don't have an isolated project. You always have some project that go ahead with other, but not. We are not talking about shapes, or we are talking about the atmosphere. We are talking about phantom of colors. We are talking about the soft of the architecture, more than a way to do the architecture, more than a way to do or sign an architect. I think this book, the beautiful thing that I think it's about it, that is, if you see each pages, you could understand more each project in relation with the others, and that is really good for the exhibition, and it's really good for the book. They are not the last one, and they are not they are not all of them are finished. There are some of them in process of building, and other ones it's just a project. But at the end, all of them want to be a family, a bestiary, you know. In this book too, there is a beautiful interview by Sue Fujimoto that was so funny for me, because he tried to understand what is in my mind, and that is really beautiful, because I have to try to understand what is in my mind too, and it's not. Sometimes it's not really easy, but it was the question was really precisely and really. He asked me about the time in all of them, and in relation with the time, and what's mean time in Japanese culture and what mean time in my culture. That is really different. Was a pleasure too, because I did the Serpentine Gallery after 1 year Sue Fujimoto did, and to understand this process and how it works with him and how it works with me, this kind of process of construction was really good. Then the book is a compendium of many situations. It's not a manifest. It's just to give samples to people to understand how an architect works, and then that's it at the end. On the book, on this bestiary, there is some point that we remark. It's not a topological or it's not about a typological way to understand the architecture. For example, the titles are tent, membrane roof, refuge, tower, stone, and recent works. All of them are really different, but all of them put together some projects, and this project has some connection in between. For example, the idea of refuge, is expressed for the first time more clear in the House of the Poem of the Right Poem that we show in Gallery Ma in 2010, and this project was in really connection with the next, was the boy hidden in a fish that we show in the Biennale of Architecture in 2010, when was Sejima was the director of that Biennale, and there is a really close connection, because the model was a real model of you have a really hard skin, stone, and inside you have a box of cedar wood. It's the same of the house. The house is a concrete, black concrete, and inside you have a cedar wood box. And then it's in connection with the boy hidden in an egg that is on this book too. But it's in connection, really in connection with the selfish Jan's castle. I mean, one of the beginning of these models that I used to produce a real building later. Just the beginning of this model that I used, that I made for game, and then at the end I used for the real one. And all of this project finally finished in the Serpentine Gallery project that is really explaining in this book, because appear in this book not just the final shape that everybody know for the website. It's appear the process of the building and how they made by hand, and it's and you could see a really high tech technology that is really useful to produce something handcraft, and that is really difficult in London, especially in England. And then this is one of the group in this big family that you could find in this book that is really interest for me.